Using the 5 major points, let's sketch one cycle of the graph y equals 2 sine x. So the 5 major points are the top, bottom, left, and right side of the circle. So let me grab some ordered pairs for that. Okay, so the right side of the circle we have 0 at the top, pi over 2. Left is pi, bottom is 3 pi over 2, and then back to where you started would be 2 pi. Okay, so those are our 5 x coordinates. So now at this point, I'm going to look for the y coordinate, and then multiply that by 2. So on the right side of the circle, sine is 0, so 2 times 0, so 0. At the top of the circle, sine is 1, so 2 times 1, is 2. 2. At the left side of the circle, we get 0 again. At the bottom, we get negative 1. So multiply that by 2, we get negative 2. And then back to where you started would be the same thing as 0. So 2 times 0 is 0. Okay, so these 5 points are going to tell us what this graph will look like. So let me start with the x-axis. And since we're starting at 0, I'll put the y-axis on the left. Okay, so starting at 0 and then ending at 2 pi. Just make sure you have the right spacing. So half of that would be 1 pi. Half of the halves would be a half a pi. And then 3 halves pi. Okay, the highest point is going to be at a 2, so I need to approximate about where 2 is. Remember, pi is about 3.14. So less than that, just kind of rounding here, that's about 2. Okay, so 0, 0, pi over 2, 2. So we go up and down, keep going down, and then back up. Okay, so this is one cycle of y equals 2 sine x. Now what I want to do is compare this back to just y equals sine x, which is pretty much going to look like the same thing, except that the top and bottom, the top of the curve is just going to go to a 1, and then a negative 1. So it still pretty much looks the same. Okay, but notice the difference in the fact that the blue was the original curve, the black one got stretched vertically, and it got stretched vertically 1 times 2 by a factor of 2. So this y equals 2 sine x stretched y equals sine x vertically by a factor of 2. Okay, because we multiplied everything by 2. Okay, so the number that was in front of the sine of x tells us the vertical stretching or compressing. So this was by a factor of 2. And another thing we should note here is that this 2 also tells us the amplitude of the curve. And that's from the middle spot to the highest spot. That's going to be the amplitude. So in this case it was 2. So in general, we can say that if y equals a sine x, then this a is called the amplitude. I should probably be more careful there. Absolute value of a, because if it's negative, it would just flip it over the x-axis. So the absolute value of a is going to be the amplitude of the curve. And this absolute value of a also tells you the vertical stretch.